My friend mocked me for working retail, then asked for a discount for his girlfriend. I've always believed there's dignity in work, no matter what kind. Apparently, Connor didn't. We grew up together, rode bikes through the same cul-de-sacs, sat next to each other in detention more times than I can count, and made dumb short films on our parents' phones. He was one of those friends you think will always be around. But after high school, life split us in two. He got accepted to some business program in Florida, moved out, joined a frat, started posting Instagram stories from rooftop parties and golf courses. I stayed behind. My mom needed help, medical bills, rent, real life. So I picked up a job at Martin's, a clothing store in the mall. Not glamorous, but honest work. I hadn't seen Connor in almost a year. Then one Thursday afternoon, I was folding a stack of overpriced hoodies when I heard that voice. I turned, and there he was, Connor, grinning, sunglasses hanging from his collar like he was still at a beach bar. Next to him was a girl I didn't recognize, sleek hair, short skirt, the kind of look that said she knew she was being watched. "Dude," he said, walking up. "Didn't know you were still here." I smiled, polite but guarded. "Hey man, long time." He glanced around, then back at me. "You work here?" "Yup," he whistled. "Didn't think you were still in the folding shirts phase." His girlfriend giggled. It stung more than I expected. I kept things professional, offered to help her find a size. She picked a pair of leggings and a sports bra, asked if we had more in the back. I said I'd check. While I was gone, Connor started chatting with one of the other cashiers, loud, obnoxious, like he wanted everyone to know he was not a regular mall guy. When I came back, she had 3 items in hand. At checkout, she asked sweetly, "Do you guys offer any student discounts?" "Only employee discounts," I replied. Connor leaned on the counter, smirking. "Come on, Eli," he said. "Can't you do us a little favor? Just this once?" I looked at him. "You serious?" He grinned. "Bro, friends don't let friends pay full price." I stared. "Didn't you just laugh at me for working here?" His smile faltered. "Joking, man." "Right," I said. "And this is just policy." She paid full price. They walked off without another word. I went back to folding hoodies. But I wasn't done with Connor. Not even close. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The smirk, the tone, the way Connor dismissed my entire life with one offhand joke, then had the nerve to ask for a favor 5 minutes later. That wasn't just casual disrespect. That was him showing me exactly where I stood in his eyes, below him. But here's the thing. I don't get mad easily. I get patient. 3 days later, during my break, I noticed something on the staff bulletin board. We were hiring. Part-time. Weekends. Seasonal coverage. I stared at the paper longer than I should have. And then the idea came. Was it petty? A little, but also kinda perfect. That evening I texted Connor. Me. "Yo, you still in town for break?" Connor. "Yeah, why?" Me. "Store I work at is hiring. Decent pay. Short hours. You said you needed a job, right?" It took him a minute to reply. Connor. "Let me out. You trying to get me in retail now?" Me. "Hey, easy cash. Beats being broke." He sent a laughing emoji. Then, we'll see. The next morning, he showed up in store with his usual swagger, wearing cologne strong enough to kill a fly midair. I introduced him to my manager, who was desperate enough to hire almost anyone with a pulse. Connor had a decent resume. He'd worked part-time at a smoothie bar in high school. That was enough. He was scheduled to start training the following weekend. I wasn't trying to sabotage him. Not really. I just wanted him to feel it. The long hours. The fake smiles. The customers who treat you like you're invisible or worse, like you're an idiot. He thought retail was a joke. I wanted him to live the punchline. Saturday rolled around, and there he was. Connor in a bright blue Martin's polo, looking like he wanted to melt into the floor. First task, folding the sock wall. By hour 2, he'd already messed up the color sorting system. By hour 4, he'd texted me. "Connor, how TF do you deal with this every weekend, me?" "It's a talent," he didn't reply. But here's where things got interesting. During our lunch break, I caught him in the break room, leaning against the lockers, scrolling his phone. He looked drained. I sat down with my sandwich. "You surviving?" He chuckled dryly. "Barely. I swear some lady just screamed at me because I didn't know where the winter scarves were." "Did you tell her they're behind the clearance section?" "Eventually, after she said I needed to grow a brain." I smiled, sipping my drink. "Welcome to retail." He looked at me, really looked. for the first time since we reconnected. "I was kinda dick the other day, huh?" I nodded. "You were," he sighed. "Well, I guess I had it coming. That would have been a decent place to leave it. Lesson learned, justice served. But Connor, he still had one more mistake to make, and I was about to let him walk right into it. By his second weekend on the job, Connor had stopped spraying cologne before shifts and started showing up 5 minutes early, a quiet admission that retail wasn't as beneath him as he'd once thought. We didn't talk much, just the usual work banter, but the air between us was different now. Lighter, more level, still. There was a weight I couldn't ignore, the fact that he never apologized for how he treated me in front of his girlfriend. Not really. That moment was still sitting between us like an unpaid tab. And then came Sunday. The store was chaos. A sale had just ended the night before, but customers were still rolling in like locusts, demanding we honor expired deals, price match things we didn't carry, or check in the back for items we didn't stock in the first place. I was on register. Connor was folding hoodies near the fitting rooms. We were short-staffed, tired, and one toddler had just thrown a slushie into a bin of scarves. That's when I saw her. Mel, the girlfriend. She walked in with 2 friends, iced latte in one hand, phone in the other. She didn't recognize me behind the register. Or maybe she did and pretended not to. Either way, I clocked it instantly. This was going to be fun. About 20 minutes later, they came up to the counter with a full haul: leggings, jackets, a tote bag, even a hoodie with a price tag I knew was above Mel's usual spending threshold. And then, like clockwork, "Hey," she said sweetly, "does Connor still get that employee discount?" I blinked once, slowly. "Oh," I said, "you're with Connor?" "Yeah." She smiled, twirling her card between her fingers. "Interesting," I replied, loud enough for Connor to hear from halfway across the store. "Because he told me he's single now." She blinked. Her 2 friends looked at each other. "What?" "Yeah," I said casually, scanning the tote bag. "Said he's been enjoying the break, no commitments, you know." Her expression shifted. That subtle tilt of the jaw, the hard blink of someone who's just been emotionally sideswiped in public. I kept ringing her stuff up like nothing happened. "Also," I added, "employee discounts can only be used by the employee. Store policy." She said nothing, just pulled out her card and paid full price, jaw tight, face hot. Then they left. Fast. Connor wandered over 10 minutes later, completely unaware. "Hey, did Mel just come through here?" I shrugged. "Yeah." He hesitated. "Everything okay?" I gave him a long look, then smiled. "Guess we'll find out." That night, I got a text from him. "Connor, yo, did you say something to Mel?" Me. "You mean when she came to your workplace to use your discount?" Connor. "Bro, she's pissed. Thinks I told PPL we broke up. Maybe you did me. Or maybe you shouldn't try to flex your job for perks you haven't earned." Connor. He didn't reply again. For the first time in a long time, I slept great. The next shift was awkward before it even started. Connor walked in 10 minutes early but didn't say a word. No. "What's up?" No smirk. No fake chill energy. Just nodded at me, then went straight to organizing the shoes. He didn't look angry. He looked humiliated, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it at first. But by hour 3, I started to feel it. That sinking weight you get when something goes too far. Like pushing a joke one sentence past funny, or watching someone realize they're not the main character anymore. During break, I caught him sitting outside the employee entrance, hunched over his phone, scrolling with that glazed-over thumb twitch of someone trying to avoid his own thoughts. I sat down next to him on the concrete step. He didn't look up. "You good?" I asked. He paused, then put the phone away. "No." I nodded slowly. "Look," he said, "I know I was a jerk when I first came in here. I acted like your job was a punchline, and the truth is I envied you. That caught me off guard." "Envy? You're the one with the college apartment and the internship." "Yeah," he said. "And you've got something I don't. Stability, work ethic. You deal with garbage every day and still show up like it's nothing." I laughed. "You call that something to envy?" "Yeah, because when I walk into a place like this, I panic if I'm not in control. You owned it, even when I was being a dick." For a second, neither of us spoke. Then he added, "I didn't mean for Mel to come in and pull that. She wanted the discount. I didn't think she'd drag you into it. She's not the first," I said, "and won't be the last." He nodded. "She dumped me, by the way." I shrugged. "Probably for the best." He laughed, but it was half-hearted. After break, we both got back to the floor. No tension this time, just quiet work. We folded, restocked, cleaned up after a toddler who unzipped 6 jackets for no reason. And for the first time since he walked in with that stupid grin on day 1, we were equals. Near the end of the shift, I saw Connor helping an older customer who was struggling to find the right fit for her grandson. He was patient, like actually patient, listening, offering options, even folding the stuff she didn't buy. When she left, she thanked him by name. That used to be my thing. And weirdly, I didn't feel threatened. I felt proud. As we clocked out, he turned to me. I think I'm gonna stay on for the rest of break. Maybe even pick up some winter hours if they'll let me. I raised an eyebrow. Seriously? He nodded. This job sucks, but it's real. Then he looked at me again, more serious. Thanks for not reporting me. Or humiliating me worse. You could've. And I earned it. I shrugged. Everyone's discounted until they prove their value. He smiled. That from a training manual or something? Nope, just retail wisdom. 2 weeks passed. Connor didn't just stay on, he got good. He learned how to handle the registers without panicking. He folded jeans faster than some of our veterans. He even volunteered to take the closing shift on Black Friday, which, in retail terms, is basically signing up for war. I wasn't sure what changed exactly. Maybe it was pride, maybe guilt. Maybe he just finally figured out that no job is small when you do it right. But whatever it was, the guy who mocked me at the register, he was gone. One night after closing, we sat on the curb outside the mall, sharing a sad bag of vending machine pretzels. Our uniforms were wrinkled, our hands sore, our voices hoarse. He looked up at the parking lot lights and said, "You ever think about what you'd be doing if you hadn't stayed? All the time." And I'd probably be broke in a college dorm, failing math and eating dry cereal. He laughed. So exactly like me then. We sat in silence for a second. The kind that doesn't feel awkward anymore. Then he said, "Hey, I got a job interview next week. Campus bookstore. Said I had retail experience now." "Nice," I said. "Want me to write a recommendation? Would you? Only if you stop using bro in your cover letter." He smirked. A few days later, I noticed him training a new hire, someone even more clueless than he'd been. Instead of mocking him, Connor helped him fold, walked him through the point-of-sale system, even let him take over a transaction solo. It was weirdly full circle, and satisfying as hell. On his last day, he came in early, really early. Beat the manager to the store. He handed me a small envelope. "Open it after your shift." Then he left before I could argue. Inside was a folded sheet of printer paper. Nothing fancy. Just, to the guy who reminded me that work isn't about status, it's about character. And underneath that, P.S. I told my frat I worked retail over break. They all laughed. Then I told them I folded 400 sweaters and dodged a screaming toddler. Now they're jealous. Turns out, grit's more impressive than GPA. At the bottom was a gift card to our store. $40. More than the discount his girlfriend never got. So, yeah, my friend mocked me for working retail. Then he worked beside me, folded socks with me, got yelled at by Karens with me. And in the end, he learned what I already knew. It's not where you work, it's how you work, and who you are when no one's watching. He paid full price, not just for the hoodie, but for the respect. And I gave it back, with no discount. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.